Yo, hey guys, what's up? What's up? Coming to you live on a Friday night, back on our regularly scheduled program as we come to you live from various parts of Philadelphia, and we are live on this 8th day of December, coming to you from the East Coast. It's kind of we're preparing for some snow. Hopefully, not too bad over here. But yeah, I'm rocking out with Andre and Amina. Yeah, well, go ahead, Amina. Why don't you reintroduce yourself?
Hi, this is Amina. Nice to meet everyone. It's brand new and nice to be reintroduced to people that are regular viewers. We have a lot to talk. We have some various topics to talk about tonight, and I hope everyone enjoys. And yes, we do have some snow in the way, so let's hope there's not too much.
Hey, Dre.
What up, everybody? I'm a Philly fanatic. All for Philly team sports. Go Eagles. We all in. Trust the process. Come on, Sixers. Brett Brown, I get that right though. He on our closeout games. But I'm excited to talk tonight about the issues that's going on in Philly.
All right, Sean. I'm your host with the most, Kylan. You already know, founder, creator, director, producer, all of that of this podcast, and everything else. So, for those of you who are regular listeners, you know how we got this drawn off. Yes, you're gonna get a lot of Philly colloquialisms, so don't worry about it. We're gonna use John a lot. It's a verb. We use it for everything here in Philly, so don't be surprised. So we're gonna start off with our crossover hot takes. Now, our crossover hot takes do not necessarily have to do with sports. Now, we are a conversational podcast that focuses on sports, but this is where we get our political, entertainment, local news on, and this is where we tackle these topics, and then we focus on sports for the rest of the show. So let's get it started. Then our first topic, guys. Your opinion on Roger Goodell's new contract? Go ahead, Dre.
This new contract. You got to be kidding me. Like one of the Eagles players said today on 94.1, it's clearly all about the money with with him and the league period. Like he's made the league some money, so obviously they see him. They want to pay him back for what he's done. Like he's getting 40 million. Like I'm like, are you serious? But that's like all bank because he gets like incentives. Like he gets like when you get like he works for the NFL, so when he goes somewhere, they pay for his hotel. They give him a stipend for food. They pay for his rental car. He doesn't have to spend that money unless pay his bills and stuff. But like this dude is just making bank like off of the hard work of all these black men because the NFL is predominantly black. You know, stand up Colin Kaepernick, stand up. Uh, I would say the players union, but that's dismantled because Malcolm Jenkins and another player did something totally different and they didn't consult with the other players, so it's a mess. But I don't know. It's just crazy that he gets all that money. I disagree with it, but what we gonna do about it? Like unless the players really fight for it, then it's gonna be what it's gonna be. But I doubt they're gonna fight for it because they're always afraid to lose their job.
Go ahead, Amina.
As what Dre said, I think it's kind of crazy. For one, his contract exceeds the usual amount that players get. Like this guy, all he is the commissioner. Like that's all he does. He's not anybody of any relevance outside of that. But players are damn near getting brain injuries, lifelong brain injuries. Playing this sport, their money's not guaranteed, but this guy gets 40 mil for the next 5 years. Just 200 mil. doesn't make any sense to me. As Dre said, he's getting basically a lifestyle that he doesn't even have to pay for. They're just giving him money, giving him money. And what's the point of it? Like, he gets hotels, food, shopping, this, that, and the third. So when do the players get a guaranteed contract? Um, it, 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 it doesn't sit well with me. Like, out of the blue, he just got this money, and for what? Like, what is he doing? But like I said, the NFL is going through a situation where the players are eventually, as we've discussed in previous podcasts, they're eventually most likely going to strike. And this is one of the reasons why. I mean, people are getting money that they shouldn't get, but the players are getting the crumbs at the table. So I don't think that they should have given Roger Goodell $40 million a year to do what? He's the NFL commissioner. I don't get it. Like, if somebody else has a different perspective of why he got the money, they can explain it to me, but I don't understand it. It's just crazy. 40 million to just be a commissioner. But some players don't even get half of 40 million a year, and they're the ones doing all the hard work. So if Kylan has anything to say, he can go next.
I mean, here it is, man. This is just a lifetime achievement award. That's what this contract is. It's a lifetime achievement award. You know, it's thank you for uh coming in 2006, doing your job for 11 years, making us more valuable. This is what this is. This is a lifetime achievement contract, and the players have known for a while that it's all about the Benjamins. As Pete Diddy, Brother Love, Puff Daddy, whatever he's going by now, used to say in Biggie, it's all about the Benjamins. And Roger Goodell is going to be getting a whole lot of Benjamins, 40 million a year Benjamins. So, that's it is what it is, and I hate to say it, but don't hate the commissioner, hate the game. At this point, I mean, the players collectively bargained for this. They had their balls to the wall. They could have kept the strike going, but they're the weakest. This is what happens. These are the things that happen and if you're an NFL player and you're under the sound of this voice, you've never heard this podcast before, but you hear what I'm saying at Kyla W. Watson. Y'all are part of the weakest players union in sports. And not just in all four major sports. You're part of the weakest player union in all of sports. I'm pretty sure the women's soccer, the U.S. women's soccer team have a stronger union than you. You know that? That's how pathetic your union is. This wouldn't happen. Listen, you for that. We're sure in a league. Let's take the league that every player that every NFL player is jealous of. Let's take the NBA Player Association. You think that any NBA player would allow what's his name? I'm about to say Adam Sandberg. What's the commissioner's name?
Adam Silver.
Adam Silver. Thank you. You think the players will allow Adam Silver? Now, nobody knows what Adam Silver makes. I'm sure it's more than what Roger Goodell is getting. I'm pretty sure it's more than what Roger Goodell is getting. Because when I'm looking up what this contract is, it's not saying that Roger Goodell is the highest paid commissioner. So I'm pretty sure that the commissioners of the other three leagues are probably getting more than him. Because if it works out the way the NFL, how cheap the NFL is, his contract isn't the richest contract of all the commissioners of all four major sports, because it's not saying that. But, this is what you collectively bargain for. If you're an Eagles player, if you're whatever player, and you're mad about this contract, again, don't hate the player, hate the game. Roger Goodell played the game, man. He helped the NFL get where it is today. Now, a lot of that is our fault because we keep watching this this football game, and we keep watching it no matter what happens. What happens? They kick Colin Kaepernick out, and they are unapologetic about it, and they gave money to get some good PR. But y'all know we still watch the games. I mean, can we really be mad? Like we watch the games. He makes money off us watching the games, and the players get none of it. It's what it is, man. You know, Roger Goodell, I applaud you, sir, for playing the game, for being a hustler, for shutting up Jerry Jones. That's your greatest achievement ever. You know, I applaud you for playing the game. Do I agree that you should be getting all that money? Not really. But hey, you played the game. I ain't gonna hate on somebody for playing the game. Playing the cards you were dealt, shutting up the owners, checking Jerry Jones, checking Bob Kraft and everybody else. I'll give it to you, man. You played the game. And any NFL player, if you're Jerry Jones, whoever, and you upset, well, come 2019, come 2 more years from now, you'll have a chance to collectively bargain, and it may end up in a strike. So it is what it is at this point. Y'all can't blame Roger Goodell. You can only blame yourselves. That's how I feel. Y'all got anything to add?
You said it. I love the way you said it. It's a good old boys. It's a good old boys club. You know what I mean? Them billionaires, they patting him on the back. It's like he's their Labrador, and like good boy, thank you. So here's a treat, boy, and it's a nice treat. Like if it was a treat, he'd be Richie Rich Dog. That's what kind of treat this is. Um, it's ridiculous, man. It's just like those players. They can't tell me they still stand for something and they allow stuff like this to go on. I find it hard to believe, man. Like they're tripping.
Mina, you got anything to add?
No.
Going on to our next question. Did the Me Too movement deserve to be the person or thing? I guess because it's not really a person or thing of the year for Time Magazine. I mean, I know you had some strong feelings about this one, so I'll let you start. Go ahead.
Yeah, me and Kylan so badly wanted Colin to win this year. But he didn't. They picked me too. Okay, let's go into me too. You know, hashtag me too. Double O. Um, I humbly understand the Me Too movement. I understand why it was created. I understand why the situations and why it was created exist. But I don't feel as though Me Too deserved it because it doesn't stand for a situation that I believe is being, overlooked in general, which is Colin Kaepernick's movement that he started in 2016 for police brutality against blacks and other minorities. His movement, since it's gotten started, it's gotten a lot of conversation amongst grassroots movements, some religious organizations, and individual pockets of people that know one another. But as far as the big picture, there has not been major discussion about his movement in the media as far as really tackling the situation of why it exists and why he started his movement. And it'd be 2 years in 2018. But Me Too pops up late 2017 this year, and out of nowhere, they decided to allow this to get the Person of the Year for Time Magazine. So to me, they overlooked the person that should have really gotten it. Me Too, it's a complex situation because when you really think about it, it kind of deserves it, but then again, it kind of doesn't because there's a situation going on that holds not of a higher value, but a more significant one across humanity. So, like I said, I understand why he got it, but like I said, the ownership of Time Magazine has changed quite recently, and I believe that influence with the new owners the decision or choice of who was going to win this year. But humbly, I believe that there's a higher situation going on in this country right now that should have won that title for this year that's not being discussed, being overlooked, and is basically being made to be a joke by people that are in political seats of power and other places. So I don't know what's going to become of the movement for 2018, but I hope some things can be done. But me too. I'm not 100% for it, but I am. I guess I would say 75% okay with the pick they made. But that's what I have to say about me too.
Joy?
I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to look at this up. What is Me Too?
Me too was about this hashtag. A black woman has I forgot her name, but she started a hashtag METOO. It's for women and I think it's for girls as well, or just I think it's for people in general, but mostly females that have been sexually abused in their life. You know, child sex abuse, sexual harassment, sexual assault, just the stuff that's been going on in the media for the last several months that's been, basically out every day. And that got Time Magazine's Person of the Year rather than Colin Kaepernick this year.
Another way to go kick a brother down. I tell you, man, we can't. We die in the streets. We die in the news. Uh, I guess we don't matter, man. We just don't matter. That's what the world tells us. Of course, we know we matter. That's why we fight for the cause we do, and that's why we got to know our rights. It's like it's like slavery never ended, really. Like it just transformed into something else. But we're not hit with physical change. Now we're more with chains of um, labels and brands, and an employer. Uh, it's a different kind of way of keeping us down, and status quo and systematic way that you can only reach a certain ceiling, and like once you get there, you're not gonna go further. Me too. I mean, it's a powerful movement, and it should be recognized. But like, how you not gonna recognize Colin Kaepernick for what he's talking about? The injustice is going on in our community. The black men are dying, and the officers that walk free.
I mean, listen, Me Too is a powerful movement. Obviously, I guess it was for Time Magazine. Now, I don't know anybody. I don't know the selection process. I don't know what happened. If I'm right about this, it's just pure coincidence and pure me using my analytical and logical mind to just say what it is. I don't know. I don't know if this is true or not. So I believe, in my opinion, what happened here is, as Amina said, and as Andre alluded to, uh, Time Magazine was probably in a bind, right? Now they've just been acquired. the magazine itself, by an organization that's somewhat owned slash loosely owned by the Koch brothers. And for those of you that don't know who the Koch brothers are, we're about to get real up on our conservative political familial hierarchy special here. The Koch brothers are one of the top Republican donors, for real, for real. One of them. There's Adelson, Rupert Murdoch, and them. Like they were part of the top three because there's two of them. They're twins, so they're a part of, you know, if you include the twin brother, the top four Republican donors, right? Of people that donate to conservatives, donate to Republicans. Those are the Koch brothers, right? And so the Koch brothers own the Meredith Corporation, which bought Time Magazine a couple weeks ago. And so I think Time Magazine was in a bind here. You know, for real, I think their top four choices that they said, I think it was Colin Kaepernick, Robert Mueller, Colt 45, and not the drink, President Trump, and the Me Too movement. And so, and also Charlottesville, Virginia was in the top 5 too. So they had a bunch of very, very controversial choices, and I'm sure the top 3 and the top 4, if I'm not mistaken, were in no particular order: Kaepernick, Mueller, Trump, and Me Too. So they chose Me Too, which I guess was the lesser of 4 evils, because if you choose President Trump, people are going to say, oh, the only reason they chose 45 is because the Koch brothers are trying to bow down to him so they can get more money from him. If they chose Robert Mueller, they'd have the conservatives saying, oh, how dare they choose Robert Mueller? He's leading a biased investigation against 45, blah, 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 blah. And if they chose Colin Kaepernick, you'd have people like Tommy the Idiot Lauren saying, look at Time Magazine bowing down to the liberal mainstream media. Which, by the way, this is a little bit of a tangent, but if you're using mainstream media and you're older than 10 years old, you don't deserve to ever have a platform ever. I don't care if your name is Steve Bannon, Roy the Child Molester Moore, no apologies there, and or whatever your name is. If you are using mainstream media and you are young and you are older than 10 years old, you do not deserve to have any platform and ever be listened to in your life. Off of that. What do I think? The Me Too movement, I really think that the Me Too movement, the only reason they won is because of they've had a more, I hate saying it like this, but I'm going to say it like this. Some people may think it's blasphemous. They've had more of an immediate and more measurable impact on the culture than Colin Kaepernick. Now, I know some people will say, but Colin, he's gotten high schoolers, college players, German national soccer teams to kneel with him and take a knee. And I agree. But there has not been any legitimate, listen to me carefully, any legitimate, measurable things that have happened because of Colin Kaepernick. Now, here's what I mean by that. The Me Too movement brought down different people who had this happen to them and using the hashtag Me Too. Look at the powerful people they brought down, right? Brought down Harvey Weinstein, a powerful director in Hollywood. Brought down Harvey Weinstein. Brought down just this week 3 sitting congressmen, right? John Conyers from Detroit, or Flint, Michigan. I forget which one he represents. Al Franken, Minnesota. Trent Franks, Arizona. That's just 3 this week, right? And the Me Too movement has installed a lot of people. Russell Simmons. That one was whatever. Russell Simmons. I'm trying to think. Help me out here, y'all. There's so many people. Matt Lauer. Charlie Rose. So many people have been sexually assaulting women. Dustin Hoffman in Hollywood. Uh, the white guy, Louis C.K. So many powerful men in Hollywood have been ensnared by this. And you notice there's not that many women. There's not that many women that are, or there's not that many women who have been, or men that have come out and said me too yet. So let me say that there aren't any men yet. Roy Moore, me too. Like I said, so many. Donald Trump, so many people that have been installed by the Me Too movement. That's what I mean. Yes, I know Colin Kaepernick has donated money. Y'all know I'm one of the most pro Colin Kaepernick people on the internet and on this podcast. But I gotta say that I think the only reason that Time Magazine gave it to Me Too is because there's discernible, measurable cultural impact, right? Now, as Amita said, we're going to be measuring Colin Kaepernick's impact. Is going to be more of a slow burn. It's not an immediate like thing. Like Jerry Jones is still an NFL owner. Roger Goodell is still the commissioner of the NFL. Nobody has been got discernibly by Colin Kaepernick's movement. Not yet, at least. There is a lawsuit pending. But that's what I mean by that. Discernible impact meaning something that's changed the culture, changed the culture around it. It hasn't changed yet. Do I think Me Too deserved it? You know what? I think that just based on the criteria that I just said, they deserved it. But do I think they deserved it over Colin Kaepernick? No. But like I said, if your measurement is, it all depends on how you look at it. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If you're doing discernible impact, then yeah, they deserve it. All right, we're gonna move on to our other one. That's an intersection of sports and criminal justice. Uh, what's our reaction, guys, to Dr. Nasser? Now, for those of you who don't know who Dr. Nasser is, he was the doctor rapist of the U.S. gymnastics teams of the last 20 to 30 years. He got 60 years for child pornography. What do we think about that? Go ahead, Amita. Amita, you there? Amita, it's on you.
Yeah, I'm here. You hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. Sorry.
Yeah. Dr. Larry Nassar. Okay. He was the U.S. Olympic team doctor for a few decades, and as time went on, in quite recent few years, it had came out in the media that he had been doing the naughty deed with, our young girls that we send to the Olympics. And, these are young girls that, 14, 15, 16, 17, under 18. And it was pushed under the rug, not dealt with. And every Olympic team that he had contact with, he would sexually abuse at least one or two girls in each team. That was pushed under the rug. And he was taking pictures, which are child pornography, of these girls, and that was pushed under the rug, amongst other things. Ali Raisman came out first, I believe, and then others came out that were a part of her team that she was on. They all came out with similar stories that happened at different times involving Dr. Nasser, of them traveling with him to various places around the world where he was just doing the naughty deed with them. And so he finally got caught. He was arrested. I forget whether he was arrested or he turned himself in. Um, and then he had a little loss. He did have a court trial case, whatever. And I believe that there may be a possible lawsuit. But he did get 60 years for some of the charges. So it's not all of them. But for the child pornography charges and a few others, he did get 60 years. And it's just justice. Like, we send our girls that are into Olympic based sports to the Olympics to represent, the home country, show all that they can be all that they want. And they're going and they're coming back damaged. And no one is saying anything, no one is doing anything. There is a culture, which is rape culture, where they are required, so to speak, to lay low. Don't say nothing. Keep hush hush. Don't say anything because you're going to expose this person and ruin their so called reputation, their money, their livelihood, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, this fool was entrusted with underage minors, young women, to just do what he was hired for, to be a medical professional. But no, he turned his medical profession into a freak show on the road, flying to the various countries, traveling, this, that, and the third. And it's unacceptable. And he's getting his just due. And in these prisons, inmates, they hate people. They do things to women, children, and elderly. So when they find out that he's going into prison, whatever prison they send him to, the inmates, when they find out who he is and what he's done, oh, he's going to have a problem. And he got at least 60 years. Oh, he's not coming out. And it's on federal charges because it happened out of state line and while he was traveling the country. So he's going through a really crazy situation he's going to have on his hands when he gets in prison. But he's getting his just due. And I hope that the girls that he had contact with can start a much needed healing process together, being as though they were on these Olympic teams together. So hopefully they still have some type of contact with one another to, start that. And hopefully they can move forward with their lives, continue being the young women that they are and accomplish the goals that they strive to be. But this guy, he was not what everyone appeared for him to be. And as the good book says, everything done in darkness comes to light. And this is just one of those moments. And he got what was coming to him. So, hey, I don't feel no remorse for him, no emotion. But it will possibly have a different impact for this Olympic team that's going to South Korea in February for the Winter Games, where there will most likely be, I can count on it, more stricter guidelines and policies and more surveillance on the U.S. Olympic team. So this does not happen again in foreseeable Olympic teams that compete every 2 years, whether it be Summer Olympics or Winter Olympics. But yeah, very unfortunate situation. This is one of the most mainstream Me Too episodes that happened this year. It was really something. But that's what I have to say about Dr. Nasser, who's now convicted felon Nasser.
Dre?
Um, so what's the question again, Colin? Sorry.
Your opinion on the gymnastics molester going to jail for 60 years?
Good riddance to him. Uh, he's sick. He needs, but see, I'm so conflicted with the prison sentence thing. And I say that to say this: prison doesn't make anybody better. It doesn't rehabilitate anybody. All it does is make people angry. That's all it does. And of course, it keeps them away from society, and they can't do it anymore. I don't think it's really helping people. I know it's not helping people. I know that. I know that for a fact. Because you only got a small percentage of people coming out of prison and actually being successful in the world. Like it's really like a real mental battle for them to strengthen themselves and like for Christ to take over and put His grace and mercy on them. But we have so many repeat offenders. That's the problem. You know, like prisons is really a joke. You know, um, I think it's a good example though. Even though I'm not with prisons, I think it's a good example to show people that we're not playing with you, and you want to endanger children, then you're going to get the book thrown at you. And they should have been getting the book thrown at them. You know, these men that are doing things to women, you know, I don't think they necessarily need to go to prison. I think them getting fired is enough. Because Matt Lauer, I'm sure he's embarrassed. Because he got fired, then I hear his wife was leaving him. So, you know, it's like a snowball effect. And, like, who wants to be with somebody like that? You know, you're humiliated. And you really got to show that the error from your ways, that you going in a different direction. And that you're really trying to make some change now. You're trying to help other people who are struggling like you. That's the real key. I think they should learn from their mistakes. They should be punished with like so many years of probation or community service. And I don't know, just help out in the community, stuff like that. Have them pick up trash all day long. That's a prison sentence. Shoot. You know how much trash is out here? But yeah, he definitely deserved to have a harsh punishment. But I don't necessarily agree with him getting 60 years in prison because I don't think it is the only thing it does is stop him, but it doesn't stop all the pedophiles. Like pedophiles will still be around.
You know, you're right. It doesn't stop all pedophiles. It doesn't just like jail doesn't deter criminals. But you know, it's a start. You know, we as Amina said, we send these kids over to represent their country, and it turns out they're getting abused. I mean, they're sexually abused, and you know, I don't necessarily agree with sending people to prison, but in this case, is well deserved. He deserves to be isolated from society for a long time, because he's proven that he can't handle the responsibility that he was given. He was given the responsibility to take care of those women, to make sure that they were healthy and good enough to play sports, not to rape, allegedly. You know, not to be an unwanted harasser in their Olympic experience. So you know what? He deserves a prison sentence. It should be a lot worse for people that molest women, children, whatever. The sentence should be worse. It shouldn't even be prison, for real. But it is, because they haven't figured out a standard, a good, justifiable, and human standard of punishment for inhuman acts. So, you know, I fully in like Dre. I don't agree with the necessary longness of the prison sentence, but for a different reason. I think he deserves something much worse than that to set an example for molesters, rapists, and others, that we won't tolerate that behavior. Because, as I've said, just based on this, see this. What a lot of people don't get about sexual assault, I think I've mentioned this on this podcast before, this is all about the power dynamics. See, this man was feeling powerful because he controlled whether these young women could be on the balance beam, could be flipping and doing whatever they needed to do to earn a gold medal, silver medal, bronze medal for the United States Olympic team. And that's what he did. He had the power to control whether they competed or not. And he took advantage of that. He raped these women. He set them back. He made it so they'll probably never trust a man again. And he deserves to go to jail for that.
He deserves a far worse punishment than that. For real, he deserves to be put to death. I'm not going to sugarcoat it anymore. He deserves death for that. For real. But that's not how this goes. You got to do something truly egregious to get the death penalty, right? But that is true. He is fully deserving of the mercy and forgiveness that comes with the Lord and everything. But right now, he hasn't asked for redemption. He hasn't asked for forgiveness. He hasn't asked for anything, and he deserves to be isolated from society for that long. He deserves whatever is going to come for him once he gets to prison and they found out what he did. He deserves any and everything that comes from what he did to the reckoning that's coming because of it. And this is what it has to take. You gotta be embarrassed. You gotta go to jail. You gotta be called out. And I said this on this podcast before. And anybody that helped him, that knew about it, if this is a Penn State situation where everybody knew about it and they was covering for him, everybody need to go to jail. That everybody need to go to jail. There needs to be a full and complete house cleaning and the U.S. Women's Gymnastics leadership team. And this was going on, and people knew a heck of a lot about it. For 30 years, there's no way. This is my thing, right? Now, this was like a year or two. I gotta be honest with you. This was a year or two. If this wasn't 20 to 30 years of this, I agree with you. I'd say, all right, even though it's egregious what he did, maybe he doesn't deserve prison. But this is 20 to 30 years of one or two of sexually assaulting, for lack of a better term, young women, allegedly, right? But he did it. 60 years of that, and he deserves everything that he's gonna get. Like there's no better way I can say that without getting more angry. So he deserves. Just like Manson, he gonna end up dying in prison. They're not letting him out. Uh, Moving right along to the other side of the question number one. Do we think Roger Goodell deserves his contract extension? I'll start. Like I said earlier, the question number one, on the basis of the merit, he does. Because he brought the league back. He's left it in better financial state. He got the money, like Andre said, for basically being a stooge and a puppet for the NFL owners. So just based on that, as a puppet, he gets a nice little treat, which is $40 million a year for the next 5 years. It is what it is. Go ahead, Dre. Dre, you there?
Yeah, what's the question? I'm sorry. Oh shoot. Hello?
Yeah.
What happened?
Now, do you think Roger Goodell deserves his contract? That's the question.
No. It's that simple. Like, he don't deserve that kind of money. If anything, he deserves like $2 million a year. Listen, all right, you get a bonus for doing your job. I never heard of anybody getting this kind of money for doing their job. And he doesn't even play the game. Like they say, he's not Peyton Manning. He's not Tom Brady. What has he? The players are the one that should be getting this kind of money. Like he should really get like 100,000 or something. He shouldn't even get millions. All he does is take money away from the players, and which is like one of the biggest jokes ever. Because he'll take money away from the player, he'll fine them for something, but then guess who they got to come see after they appeal the fine? Him. That ain't the biggest joke. I don't know what is. It's totally absurd, man. It's just he, it's, he just does what he wants and he gets away with it because they don't stand up to him. He's really a tyrant.
Go ahead, Amina. What's your answer?
Um, until the NFL gets itself together as far as how they go about playing these players when it comes to these contracts, I don't think he deserves that money. Um, Players they're not getting, as we've talked about on this podcast sometimes. And players they don't have guaranteed contracts. I mean, you go to other sports organizations, other outside of the National Football League, and they have guaranteed contracts. They sign the paperwork, and that's their money. They get all of it, including any endorsements and sponsors they get. But the NFL, not so much. You literally got to earn money that you sign your signature for, and it's not even guaranteed. I mean, you can have a good career, successful career, win Super Bowls, win this, that, the third, MVP, all this, but not every player is guaranteed their money, but the NFL commissioner, he gets 40 mil a year just to sit around, just basically do much of nothing. He's not the one out there on the field. He's not the one that's out there at practices and all sorts of weather. He's not the one that's traveling from coast to coast on a 16 game short schedule every year. He's not the one that's ending up possibly with CTE at some point in their life. He's not the one that's having the results of playing professional football with mental health situations. The players are the ones that deserve 200 mil every 5 years, not him. So I don't know, outside of what he discussed and what came out about why he got this money, it really doesn't make sense. And so every player in the NFL is guaranteed their money in their contract. No, I don't believe that owners or commissioners should be able to get that much money. To do what? And you're living off of high hauls, and you're getting basically a free ride everywhere you go, getting free clothes, travel, hotel, cars, this, that, and third. So what do you need 200 mil for? I don't get it, but it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it makes sense to other people, but not to me.
I mean, we should put one clarity in here. Like most of his money is based on performing and meeting different goals set by the league. Now, I have no doubt that he'll reach all those incentives in order to get all his money. I mean, I would work as hard as I could for $40 million a year too. So, we should say that it is based on some performance indicators. Now, what those performance things are, nobody knows. I'm sure it's probably getting rid of some more players, and doing some other things. But whatever it is, that's what he has to do to get his money. So we'll move right along to our next topic, which is the Saints versus Falcons. Some analysis from the game last night. I'll start. I didn't watch a lot of the game, but from what I did watch, it was a shootout basically. Way too many people to me ended up in concussion protocol. You had Alvin Kamara, the Saints' rookie, end up in concussion protocol, and then you had Tevin Coleman getting a concussion. You had a couple of Saints defensive players getting injured. I mean, so the Saints basically succumbed to all of their injuries on the offense and defensive side last night, and Drew Brees showed his age last night. I mean, He had a very relatively good game. He obviously had a better game than Matt Ryan, who threw like 4 interceptions last night. But ultimately, his gunslinger qualities and the thing that helped them win the Super Bowl came back to bite them. He threw a very very ill-advised pass. I know he was thinking, "Oh, I'm Drew Brees. I can make this pass," and he turned out to be the one athletic freak at the middle linebacker position that the Saints had, and he took that ball away, and it wound up costing the Saints a game. Now this has been the one knock on Sean Payton that everybody has laughed at me for, but I've been saying this for a while. Sean Payton knows how to pass the ball. He does not know how to run the ball. Sean Payton can devise. He's an all. Don't get me wrong. He's an offensive genius. I know there's a lot of people in New Orleans and all over the world that are going to hear this at Kyler W. Watson and hear me say, "How dare he say that? How dare he say that?" Well, I can say that because my team is 10-2 and yours is 9-4. I can say that, and I also can say that. I also can say that because Sean Payton just proved last night that he does not know how to run the ball or finish games, even though he has one Super Bowl ring. And I think that one Super Bowl, and Matt and Andre, Amina and Andre can correct me if I'm wrong. I I believe that one Super Bowl was a blowout, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Saints blew whoever they played out, and that's what he is. He's a coach that can scheme his way out of a paper bag. He knows how to scheme, but he doesn't know how to run. This is a man that had Adrian Peterson, Alvin Kamara, and Mark Ingram on the same roster, and couldn't get a lick out of Ingram. I mean, out of Adrian Peterson. Now that was more scheme fit, but still, this is a man that does not know how to control the clock. If you have him in the shootout and he can tell Drew Brees go win the game for me by throwing deep passes, he don't know how to slow the game down. He really doesn't. And Sean Payton and Drew Brees obviously lost that game because Sean Payton couldn't control his temper. He walked out onto the field, got a flag, cost his team 20 seconds. It's usually players that cost their team victories, not coaches that are stupid and have a Super Bowl ring. So this game comes down to a lot of things. The Falcons winning in spite of the fact that Matt Ryan tried to do all he could to lose that game for them by throwing 4 interceptions. Uh, Sean Payton's inability to control his emotions, and Drew Brees' inability to be able to audible and throw a better pass to the tight end so they could have gotten a touchdown, and not realizing and acting like a Super Bowl winning quarterback and not just throwing the ball away instead of trying to fit the ball in the small window. Like Drew Brees, don't get me wrong, the Saints, they're a dangerous team offensively, not so much defensively. They're very much defensively improved. They're 9-4, but they lost last night to somebody who they're probably going to see in the playoffs, their first round, because the Falcons are battling for a seventh and eighth, for a fifth, a sixth, and a seventh seed. So there's going to be a lot going on. They'll probably see the Falcons again, and for the Saints, man, this has got to rile your confidence because you were controlling most of that game, and Drew Brees and Sean Payton's inability, well, basically injuries, Sean Payton's inability to control himself, and Drew Brees not being aware of situational football cost you the game. That's what that game comes down to. Injuries, Sean Payton, Drew Brees. Go ahead, Andre. All right, Andre left the group. Go ahead, Amina.
The irony of that, we're gonna discuss it off here. Saints Falcons game. They played at the Falcons turf. Very close game, as you said. They have had trouble as far the Saints, they had trouble finishing the game with running the ball, where they thought they had the game and then they lost. They they didn't complete the game. Reminds me of the what game was that the other day on Monday? It was the Steelers and Bengals game where the Bengals was like the Saints and the Falcons was like the Steelers. How one team thought they had the game in their bag, and the other team saw their weaknesses and how they got relaxed and they took advantage, and the team that people thought was going to lose ended up winning. So it kind of went like that. But yeah, um, Saints they were on a good course. They're still on a good course, but their weaknesses with their main roster man showed this game when they went to go play with the Falcons. And the Falcons really turned up. I mean, people didn't expect them to win. People that I know that put money on tickets to sports betting. They thought the Saints was gonna win. They put their money towards that, so they all ended up losing their little money because the Falcons won. But the Falcons, they really showed how they can come back from a situation where they were put in a sticky spot, and they showed that they can really truly compete with playoff contenders this season. And I believe that if both teams complete their season with wins, that they're both to be seen in the playoffs. They both have the stamina for it. But them Saints, they fell through the cracks in the last quarter, and it really showed their weaknesses. But they can have some time to get it together. And the Falcons, hey, congratulations on a very close game. I think the score was 20 and 17, so it was rather close. So 3 points off from the other game that I was mentioning too, from the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Bengals. They was 23 and 20. So yeah, um, that's what I gotta say about that.
All right. Moving on to our next thing. To your team. So is the injury to Steph Curry the nail in the coffin to the NBA season? Go
It's
ahead, Amina.
it's not the nail in the coffin for the NBA season. By the way, we just won the game against the Pistons. So we're in a situation right now like we were last season in reference to Kevin Durant when he was out for a few weeks due to an injury. And it had no impact on the team, literally. Like, sure, his presence is missed. We was all, get well soon, KD. Outside of that, the article that I had tagged you in on Forbes.com, whoever wrote that article really had a great analysis of why Steph Curry's injury won't have a negative impact on the team. Because, like everybody knows, we won the finals back in June, and since then, even up until recent, the team has still been on that, honeymoon mode, and they got to get out of that because it's not their season is over. We're in a new season now, and I think, as the article suggested, that without a key member of the team for a significant amount of time, the team becomes vulnerable. And anybody that becomes vulnerable goes into an attack mode. And an attack mode helps defense and offense. So it's beneficial, as the article stated, that Steph Curry is out on injury right now. We want him to get better. We miss him. We want him on the court. But right now, it's beneficial that he's not, because it allows other players to really let their light shine, because Steph Curry is the face of the team for almost 10 years now. So other players that, in the background don't really get their shine, they're allowed to get more court time, more minutes, this, that, and the third. But like I said, last year, a championship team, we won, I think, 14 games in a row with Kevin Durant on injury leave. We was on a historic win streak last season. Teams, we were just blowing them out and without KD in his rookie year on our team. Not rookie year in the NBA, but his first year on our team. But yes, I mean, and Steph, when he eventually comes back, I hope it'll be in time for the 25th. If not, I'm praying that all goes well for the 25th. But when he comes back, it's going to be a firepower. Like this injury possibly might be what the team needed to re-jumpstart the season because we started off really rocky, even from the first game of the regular season against the Rockets. We lost, I think, by a point, and it was not a good ending. But like Steve Kerr even says, our coach, that Steph Curry's injury is probably a highly beneficial thing. He gets to sit out of the game. Other players get more time out there, and the team gets to get refocused without their key player. So we can truly see where the weaknesses outside of Steph Curry are in the game and to truly tackle them. So it's not a bad thing when you really think about it. It's a beneficial thing in spite of it. So it's kind of bittersweet. And we beat the Pistons tonight, 102 to 98. A real close game right at the last quarter. And they're going home now.
I saw. It should have never been that close. They was up by like 12. I
That's a very close game. I was like, they need to win this game, and they won it.
but yeah, how do I feel about this? Steph Curry is one of my favorite players, so I definitely think it's a huge loss for the NBA that he's not playing, especially because of what he injured. This is a recurring injury. Well, not really a recurring injury within the last couple of years, but this is an injury that was how Steph Curry started. He was known as a good player, but had some weak ankles, and the weak ankle showed up again. Now, not that you can really predict injuries because as Matt talked about last week, you can't really predict injuries. Injuries just happen. That's the nature of the basketball game and the basketball world. Injuries just happen. And so I hope that he takes his time. As Amina said, this is what the team needed. Obviously, she kind of jumped on to the next question after this one about how it affected the Warriors. But I think, yeah, it's definitely a bad look on the NBA for the season. It's just another injury that's happened in this NBA season that just, maybe shows the reason why the NBA should not start their games should not start their season a week early. Now, we talked about this ad nauseum on this podcast that the NBA started a week early and they're having a lot more injuries than they're used to having because of the fact that they started the NBA season early. Now, Steph Curry's injury, I believe, would have happened anyway because the Raiders, wow, the Warriors have always have somebody get injured during the season, and that injury serves as the catalyst to wake them up. It happened to Kevin Durant last year when he injured his leg or foot or whatever he injured. And, Steph Curry went on the tear. The team was kind of in a lull now. Then Kevin Durant went down. They woke up. They all figured out their roles. As Amina said, it's great for the team. So that's jumping into the next question after this one. That's not jumping into the question at hand, which is, does this put a nail in the coffin of the NBA season? It does a little bit because Steph Curry is the everyday man. He's the everyman. A lot of people will say, why is Steph Curry so celebrated? It's because you can see a little bit, not that you can't in any other NBA player, but you can see a little bit of yourself in Steph Curry that you don't see in LeBron James. Because let's be real, none of us came out, none of us came out, uh, uh, like LeBron James. None of us came out
Are you
as.
serious? The way he shoots, you can see yourself in Steph Curry. The way he shoots.
No, I'm not. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you can see a little bit of yourself as far as the doubts that people had in Steph Curry that he's too small.
Okay,
Uh,
I see that.
will his game translate
But
to the
how tall is Stephen Curry?
6'2", 6'3", a little short.
6'3".
He's on the short side for a point guard.
He ain't AI.
True.
Like AI was, like they said, he was like 160 pounds soaking wet.
Right, but he's short for the modern day point guard because like Westbrook is 6'4".
Iverson is shorter than Curry. Iverson is 6 foot. Curry 6'3".
He's 6 foot with sneakers on. Iverson probably like 5'11", for real.
But anyway, he's on the shorter side. But anyway, you can see a little bit of yourself in Steph Curry, and you can't. I like LeBron, but I can't see myself in LeBron. Like LeBron is a genetic freak who probably works out in the gym 24/7. I ain't got that time like LeBron to work out in the gym 24/7. I
He was
respect
made to land
LeBron.
somewhere. He's not even human. That's a land rat.
I I see the hustle in LeBron. Like I see the hustle that I want to have. Like LeBron got a hustle, but he know how to hustle. He know he got that business acumen. He
But
knows.
I can see myself in LeBron because LeBron came from nothing, and I can see that grind that he put in, and like he basically created LeBron, just like Jordan created Jordan. Like they weren't great players just starting out. I mean, some stuff they just you got some skills like you just naturally have, but a lot of stuff they worked for. Like LeBron said, I was playing basketball in the snow when people was home and stuff. Like I was, he said it didn't matter. I was out there. I was shooting. So that dedication, I can see. I can see myself willing myself to being a great basketball player.
Right. Well, you can. Everybody can see the will and stuff. But what I mean is, you lose kind of the everyman, the working man, because Steph Curry is a working man's working man. Right. He's always in the gym, just like
But
LeBron.
he, but he come from a line that his dad was a great shooter. So it's not like he's unknown to basketball. LeBron ain't come from no. His dad was a great basketball player.
Yeah, but LeBron was crowned from high school. Like people
From
thought
hard
Steph Curry.
work. It was all
Right,
from hard work.
but he was a guy. He was a okay. Let's put this in perspective. He was a guy. He was built up as basically the god of basketball, the second coming to Jordan. Steph Curry was just going to be assumed as a role player, and the only reason he's in the NBA outside of the fact that he can shoot a little bit was his dad. Right. A lot of people said that before Steph Curry even ascended that oh, would he ascend like his dad, or would he be like his dad, just a good role player? No, Steph Curry's a star. He's more than what his father was. His father was a role player. Steph Curry's a star. There's a difference. His father was a great shooter.
He's a megastar now. Like he's like a superstar level. Like the highest level that you can be on the NBA. That's what he is. Because
Right.
First of all, he got 2 rings now. He has a Space Jam team. He's a Toon Squad team or whatever. Like it's unreal. And he has all these endorsement deals. People love him. He's a Christian, so of course people love that. Like he's a man of faith and family. Like there's no reason not to like Stephen Curry unless you just don't like greatness. That's it.
Right, but again, that's what the NBA for everything that LeBron is. Let's be real, LeBron is not liked by a lot of people unless you are black or you live.
That's because that whole Miami move. They loved him before Miami, but when he did that whole Miami thing, the whole nature of the NBA changed. I didn't like LeBron when he was first. When everybody loved him, I was like, man, y'all sweating this dude hard. But then when he went to Miami, I was like, The man can do what he wants. He gave you 7 years.
But
He
you
gave you all these MVPs. Like 2 years, I think he was MVP twice before he went to Cleveland, and then he got
right.
it twice more when he was in Miami.
But
I'm like, man, y'all tripping.
you making my point though. That's the point. Like LeBron James is a great player, but he's a polarizing player. Steph Curry ain't polarizing. Steph Curry can get you people whether you like him or you don't like him. LeBron, a lot of people want to see him. I know a lot of people that watch basketball
Just to see him fail.
to see LeBron fail.
Yeah.
Nobody watches Steph Curry play to see him fail. People know when they see Steph Curry, they see the show. And that's exactly what I'm saying. That's what the NBA loses without Steph Curry. You don't have a likable figure. Like it really is LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook. And that's 3 very polarizing players. Especially Durant. All 3 of them. You either love or hate all 3 of those players. You know what I'm saying? Like Steph Curry, everybody loves Steph Curry. It's a difference. That's what I mean. That's what the NBA is losing, that marketability. Right? That every man, that everybody likes. Right now they have a bunch of Darth Vaders. That's what they have, and no Luke Skywalker right now in the NBA because Steph Curry is injured. Right? And so that's what I mean. Is this the death knell in the NBA season? A little bit until they can find a lovable face like Steph Curry. Now, will that be Ben Simmons? Who knows? But that's what I mean. That's what the NBA is losing, and that's why it's kind of a death sentence to the NBA because they're taking a hit in marketability because now, unless I really like basketball or I really like Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, or Draymond Green, I'm not going to be watching Warriors games when they're on for the next 2 weeks. It depends on who they play. That's what I mean. But you got a lot of people now. You have a lot of basketball heads, but you're losing a lot of casuals because you don't have Steph Curry. That's what I mean. That's why this is a coffin in the NBA season. All right, so we'll move on. So how will Steph's injury affect the Warriors? Again, how will Steph's Warriors? How will Steph Curry's injury affect the Warriors? Go ahead, Andre. Andre, you there?
What's the question?
The question is, how will Steph's injury affect the Warriors?
I think it's too. This might be my key phrase. I think it's too early to tell. I think they'll be all right. I don't think the Warriors are really gonna be. Oh, Colin, mute yourself. Because I hear you in the background. I think the effect to the Warriors is going to be minimal right now. I think we'll see if the Warriors are going to be. They got so many scores. Their bench is so deep. I don't see it affecting them, really. And like any day, somebody could step up. Because if Christian Thompson, what's his name? Am I saying it right? What's his name, Colin? The one that start, the light skinned guy. Oh man, he's shooting guard. I forget his name. But anyway, if he want to step up.
Klay?
Yeah, Klay Thompson. There it is. I want to call him Tristan Thompson. I'm like, that ain't it. That's the player on Cleveland Cavaliers. If Klay Thompson wants to step up and be a great shooter, he can be. He is a great shooter. We all know that. So he can carry the load till Stephen Curry come back. I don't think Stephen Curry is going to be down forever. Shoot, they got to tape his ankles up. They'll tape his ankles up. But he's been playing so long now, but it's probably taking a toll on him too, because like we talked about before in the podcast, basketball miles can get heavy when every year you're going deeper and deeper into the playoffs. Now you experiencing a different level of what's the word I'm looking for? Like just it's a toll on you. Like you you're not gonna feel the same as if like you played the regular season and you didn't even make the playoffs because you had that time to rest and recuperate and get your mind right. Like all that is key to a basketball player. Like they have to they have to get rest and they have to heal up. They got to take time away from basketball to just reset and recharge. I think the Warriors gonna be fine. Period. I think they're gonna be fine.
Amina?
Like I said, briefly with the previous question, I mean, Warriors, that's my team. And anybody who knows me knows that. But as I said a few minutes ago, they'll be fine. Like, this is not a hindrance to our team at all. Last year, Kevin Durant was of out on injury leave for almost a month. We went on, I think it was a minimum of a 14-game win streak without him. Like, we was literally blowing out teams without one of our key players. And as I said to you, when it was just the two of us on here a few minutes ago, when a team, when one member on a team is a significant player on the team and they're out on injury leave, the team becomes vulnerable. And anybody that is vulnerable is on the attack, on the defense, their offense is up because they have to make up for the loss of that significant key player. So the team will be fine. It's going to be Steph Curry's injury, in my opinion, and also our coach Steve Kerr's opinion, is basically a blessing in disguise in spite of the fact that he's injured, because it's going to truly jumpstart our season. It's going to get the guys out of the honeymoon phase mode from winning the finals back in June of this year, and it's going to really show this season's true potential with Curry gone. And when he returns, oh, it's going to be magical. The team, that this is probably just what the team needed at this time. It's still early in the season. It's not late in the season, so there's no impact on playoffs. So it's a good thing, in spite of the fact that he's injured. The team, this is most likely what the team needed to get jump started back on their track of crushing teams' throats, as Steve Kerr said recently. But yep, but we'll see when he comes back.
Yeah, I think that like Amina said, like Andre said, I think the Warriors will be fine. They're already starting going on their mini streak, going into Christmas with the 6 straight games already during their world trip. We'll see if they'll win their next game, which I guess is on Monday. Might be on Sunday, but I guess it's on Monday. And they are they're the marquee matchup, like they said. Steph Curry will be reevaluated in 2 weeks, and he might come back for the Christmas game against the Cavaliers. He might not. He might make his debut at the next game after that. But all signs point to him being back for the biggest, for the biggest, for the biggest, for the last couple of big games before 2018, Warriors Cavs. I'm definitely excited to see. We got to see the Warriors a little bit earlier tonight against the Pistons. It's definitely Kevin Durant's taking his shots at being the star and being the alpha, doing really well at it. A lot of people are coming together for the Warriors. So I mean to say it, a lot of people step up, uh, and uh, and we'll see what happens. I mean, there's nothing more to add. They both basically took that one. So guys, are we taking I know Amina's not gonna like this one because she don't like LeBron. Are we taking LeBron James for granted? Uh,
those of you that don't know, LeBron James did an interview or something recently where he talked about, being taken for granted, that, basically that most people just take it for granted, take that the sustained greatness very, very, very lightly. And I agree with him. Even though like
I agree also.
I've never wavered on my support for LeBron. I think that a lot of people hate greatness. I mean, this is the level of what you have. A lot of people didn't like Jordan, but it was for different reasons. Jordan was, a polarizing player. You either love Jordan or you hated Jordan, and a lot of your love or hate for Michael Jordan depended on who your favorite player was. Now, I idolize Michael Jordan. I love Michael Jordan. Watch his every move, and Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. LeBron James, right now he has the best. I mean, I won't like hearing this, but statistically, he's having his best season of his whole career. 28, 24 to 28 points a game. Shooting the best outside percentage he ever had. Everybody knows the one knock on LeBron James's game was that he couldn't shoot a 3-point shot. Well, now he's improved that vastly. He can shoot a jump shot now. There's not too many knocks on LeBron's game you can have anymore, especially in year 16. He's having the best year 16, year 15, whatever year it is of his career. His year 15, year 16 is better than year 1, year 2, year 4 of LeBron James. I mean, he's kind of been like a fine wine. He's getting better with age, and that's a scary thought. I mean, I might need to revise my prediction. I said that he lasts to the age of 35, and he's going on 33, 34 now. So if he can actually be consistent with his jump shot, he might be able to play until he close to 40. I don't think he will. I don't think he's like Tom Brady. I don't think he'll be playing that long. But he's having the best season. He's definitely being taken for granted because a lot of people hate greatness. Now it's not like a Yankees hate where you could actually find legitimate reasons to hate the Yankees, the Duke Blue Devils, Notre Dame, and a lot of other teams that people hate. But with LeBron James, you can't really, as Dre and I were going over before, like the only reason you legitimately hate LeBron James is if you lived in Miami or something where he actually messed your team up, But he is a great player. He's the closest we'll get. He's the closest we'll get to Jordan since Kobe. Everybody forgets Kobe. They just skip right over Kobe and just say LeBron's the closest thing to Jordan we've ever had. But whatever. And LeBron James is the closest thing to Kobe. Basically, this is what he is. Everybody.
That's because people hated Kobe. That's why they skip over Kobe. They hated him. And
Listen,
he went that whole tangent like, y'all don't like me, I don't like y'all either. Black Mamba.
listen. Everybody gets it wrong. They compare. I've said this before on this podcast. They compare LeBron James to the wrong player. They should compare LeBron James because his skills match up perfectly to Magic Johnson. Now Magic Johnson never really had the offensive game that LeBron has, but that's who he compares very favorably to. LeBron compares very favorably to Magic. Everybody miscompares him and wants to jump him straight to Jordan, but he compares very favorably to Magic. And he's taken for granted. His legacy will stand. One.
I mean, I can see I can see why you say that, but I would disagree because LeBron is more of a like he has that star quality that Jordan has. Like Magic has star quality, but it wasn't like Jordan's star quality. Like nobody was afraid of Magic. Like nobody trembled. They was afraid of Jordan. They're afraid of LeBron. I don't know.
Nah,
it's that,
nah. See, I disagree
you
with you.
disagree?
I don't think anybody's really scared of LeBron because he doesn't have. I can't name a finals that LeBron has closed out. It wasn't LeBron. Hasn't.
He don't have a killer instinct.
He don't. He
No, but
really.
listen, he
You
come
don't.
down that lane. You
You
gotta
don't
watch
have.
out for him.
You don't
He
have
come
that.
down that lane. You gotta watch out for him, and you got game playing around him.
No, that's
You can
true.
you cannot do a game plan without putting LeBron in it.
Listen,
You play you.
LeBron James is the scariest player when he's headed to the hoop. Outside of that, I gotta be honest with you. I ain't scared of him. The only thing I'm scared of when it comes to LeBron is his ability to make. He's like Peyton Manning, man. He makes everybody better, and that's what I'll give him. I'll give him that. He's an unselfish superstar. That's why I said he compares favorably to Magic Johnson. Because unlike Magic, he has a better, more consistent offensive ability. But nobody's scared of him in the last 4 minutes. He needed Dwayne Wade and Kyrie Irving to get him his titles. Like, I like LeBron. He put up one of the greatest finals ever. But LeBron, I'm objective, man. LeBron is a very good player. He has a very, very good offensive skill set, but he doesn't have the mentality it takes to close out games. He's not he's not a Kobe or a Jordan type of player. He's a Magic Johnson. I'll facilitate, do what I got to do to get us close, and I need somebody to take us home. He's that kind of player, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what he is. He's a great player. He's a star in the league. He's the king of basketball. That's what he is. But yeah, he's taken for granted because he's great. He's a great player, but he just doesn't have the killer instinct. I mean, I think that's the nicest way I can put it without sounding like a hater. Like, he's a great player, but he's a Magic Johnson type of player. This is why I really don't like the Michael Jordan comparisons, because when you start comparing to Michael, everybody gonna say, most basketball heads will say, he ain't got the killer instinct. He got everything else but that. And that's what makes or breaks the Kobe. That's what separates the Kobe and the Jordans from the Magic Johnsons, the Jerry Wests, and Larry Bird had it. That's why people love Larry Bird. Everybody, there's certain players that just have it. LeBron James is the most complete player at his position, not named Larry Bird, and everything else. But he's not. He doesn't have the killer instinct, and that's ultimately what separates him. But he's a great player. He's a top 3. He's definitely a top 5 player, and top 3. Some people may put him in the top 3. But LeBron definitely is underappreciated. He's a great player, but he's more of a Magic Johnson with better offensive skills. He's more of a combo, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. That's what he is, to me at least. Go ahead, John Dre. Andre, you there? That's not. Go ahead, Amina.
Yeah, you kind of nailed it on the head, and I mentioned it. Um, he's, I guess, woken up this season because I don't know where this energy was. From preseason up until now. I guess it was buried, but he'll be 33 this month. Um, if he keeps playing like he is, like right now, I could see maybe up to 5 more seasons out of him. I don't think anybody's taking him, for granted or whatever. But he's an okay player. He's decent, his career, but he doesn't have the killer instinct that other people have had in the past in the NBA. What gets him over on courts is his size. I mean, he's
Are we
bigger
still
than.
talking about LeBron? Did you just say he's an okay player?
I'm not a fan of his or his team, so I'm
Clearly,
trying
but
to be as
you
simple as
gotta
possible.
recognize greatness when you see it, Amina.
I just did. Um,
The
But
hate
anyway,
is real. Oh man, it's real.
but anyway, he's not being taken advantage of or being taken for for granted. It's that some people like him, some people don't, and he has his own style. I mean, but he's getting there this season. He's showing stuff that hasn't been seen this season from him. But hey, here's what it is.
All right, go ahead, Andre.
You got it. Um, what's listen, y'all are. I don't care what y'all say. LeBron is closer to Jordan than he is to Magic. Um, he has the people attention more than Magic did. Like Magic had people attention, but not like on a Jordan level. Um, he affects a team tremendously. I don't think you could put Magic on a team and he would affect the team like LeBron does, or like a Jordan does, or a Kobe does. That team instantly becomes better. A team does come better if Magic's on it, but he's not. He doesn't have the same kind of impact that LeBron does. Like, just take it, just just take it. This Magic played with great players. He didn't play with no bums. Like he didn't play with I'm trying to remember who. Like LeBron's earlier teams were not great. He got better teams now because he got more pool, but his early teams they was okay at best. He was kind of like AI, like he was dealing with what he had. He had to make demands to get great players to play with him.
All right, moving right along. Seahawks versus Eagles. Our reaction to that. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Andre. Andre, Seahawks, Eagles. You there?
Um, it was one game. I'm upset about the game. I'm not tripping. It was one game. Carson Wentz didn't have his best game. Doug Peterson didn't have his best game. We we'll be all right. We learned a lot from our mistakes. Doug Peterson can't play safe. He has to be. I feel like he tried to play safe. Like he tried to do things not conventional, not stuff he's good for. And I don't know. It was just a bad game, and they didn't show up like they should have. I think they were smelling themselves a little bit, but I think we're gonna get back on track come Sunday. Go Birds, go!
Amina?
Yeah, it was a great close game. Not close game. It was a great game. Um, Eagles they didn't prepare for the Seahawks too well. From what I saw with the game, dealing with Russell Wilson. Um, Seahawks they saw the weaknesses that the Eagles have, and they just took advantage on the Seahawks turf at the CenturyLink field. Um, I think it's also contributing to the fact that the Eagles, they don't usually do well with extremely loud stadiums, from what I understand. And the Seahawks, their stadium is extremely loud. So I think that kind of contributed to it. And also, the playing style's different out there as far as the temperature and climate and all that. Um, Carson Wentz and the others, they just got relaxed in this game. I guess it got to the point in their win streak where they said we're so confident and we're gonna win all these games and not lose any. But you can't think like that. You gotta play each game as an individual and then go for it. But it was a great game to watch. The game was stalled for a while at 10-0, and that's when the game was kind of predictable at that point for the Seahawks. But it was a great game, and I think it'll be one of the most talked about games in this for this particular season for the Eagles. Looking back on it, how the Seahawks was seeing to snap their streak, but it was a great game.
I think the Eagles definitely show once again. I was telling people even on the podcast that we had last week, uh, and this is where the plug comes in. Check out my article on this at WatsonSportsTakes.com. It's called "The Eagles Wake Up Call." The Philadelphia Eagles, as I told everyone who would listen on Sunday before the game, the Eagles don't do well in very loud stadiums. The two games that they lost have all been in very loud stadiums. They lost in Kansas City and they lost in Seattle. Both very loud stadiums. Arrowhead is in the Guinness books in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the loudest stadium in America. And the Seahawks have the 12th band. It's a very loud stadium. Now the Eagles are a very time-oriented team, right? And so, for what happened in that game was the Eagles dominated. They dominated in the run game. They dominated in the passing game. Carson Wentz had his best game, 300 plus yards and everything. The Eagles just didn't execute. They missed some wide open passes. Carson Wentz just really wasn't doing well with making these wide open passes. Passes that he usually executes on, he was missing. The Eagles were getting killed because they were getting penalties, stupid penalties in the defensive secondary by holding. Reminded me of a Cowboys or a Raiders game where everybody's just holding everybody, and it just was a bad. It was a good game, but a bad game. It was ref bad, and the Eagles, as Amina said, they just didn't. She must have been reading my article. They just didn't. They just failed to be ready for Russell Wilson. Now, you can't really prepare for a Russell Wilson or Alex Smith type of quarterback. If you realize that the two quarterbacks that the Eagles lost to, Alex Smith and Russell Wilson, they're very mobile quarterbacks. They can keep a play alive, and the Eagles aren't used to dealing with that. They're used to dealing with statues. The most mobile quarterback they face is Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott is a very different player from a Russell Wilson. Russell was able to keep those plays alive just by scrambling around, and the Eagles did an all-out blitz, never all-out blitz a quarterback like Russell Wilson, and that cost them the game. Penalties, lack of execution by Carson Wentz in the offense. I'm gonna give you the 3 points from this game: penalties, lack of offensive execution, and just failure to prepare. Now this week the Eagles should be better prepared to deal with the West Coast. As I told my barber today, I mean they just didn't. The Eagles left. I think they left on a Friday night and got there, or Friday afternoon, got there Friday night, And you really need more than a day. I've been on the West Coast. Anybody who's ever been to the West Coast in their lives will tell you you need more than a day to adjust to that time difference. There's a 3 hour time difference between the East Coast and the West Coast, right? So the East Coast is 3 hours ahead of the West Coast. So your body has to adjust to that. And one day for the Eagles was not enough time to adjust to the time difference. Now this tomorrow, Sunday, should be a better game for the Eagles because they've been there all week. They got talked to by Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant talked to them about details today. So and this game on Sunday night will basically be a home game because they've already said there's going to be more Eagles fans than Rams fans. This in LA. This should be a way better and easier game. I'm not going to say it'll be an easier game, but this should be way more of a hometown feel for the Eagles. Man, they're going to have a. I think they're going to have a really really good game. I think that they're gonna have because this is a statement game really. Like this is a wake up call to the NFC. They're facing the Vikings now for the number one seed. The Eagles are angry, and when they're angry, they come out with a statement. And it's December. December is usually the best time for the Eagles. That's when they have their best record in December. So I fully expect the Eagles to bounce back. This is a bounce back game for the Eagles, and I'm excited for what's going to happen with them. But the Seahawks Eagles thing, it's just one game. It made the haters happy because they were hating. Now they're saying people are saying, oh, who did they play? I mean, we played the Kansas City Chiefs. As was pointed out to me, the Eagles are 4-2 against teams that are above 500. The two losses being the Kansas City and Seattle. So the Eagles have a pretty good record against 500 teams. So, everybody keeps saying they ain't play nobody, but before the season started, the Eagles had one of the hardest schedules in the league. So you play who you play. The Eagles are a very, very good team, and they'll prove it. Come the playoffs, there'll be a deep playoff run, and everybody whose team who hates on the Eagles, I bet you their team ain't even sniffing the playoffs this year. So, it is what it is. And don't come for my Eagles at Kyler W. Watson. The Eagles are going to bounce back. I'm calling it now. Matter of fact, we're going to go to our next question. Are the Eagles in a must-win situation against the Rams? I'll start. Yes, they are. They are in a must-win situation. Here's why. Because as I just said, they're fighting against the Vikings for the top seed, and they need this top seed. They need to not go. They need a bye, and they need to make sure that they never have to leave Philadelphia except for the Super Bowl if they get there. They need everybody to come into Philadelphia when it's cold like it is right now, where you gotta run the ball, where the stadium's loud. They need to come here. They need to come here because they won't do well if they have to go to Seattle again, or they gotta go places where the stadium is loud. I'm fully confident that if they get the number 2 seed, they can go into Minnesota, destroy Case Keenum and the Vikings. I'm very confident they can do that. But they need to make sure that they have a top 2 seed, and they need the number 1 seed. So these next 4 games, not just this game, but yeah, to answer the question, yes, this is a must-win game for the Eagles if they want the number 1 seed. If they're just content with the number 2 seed, then no, it's not a must-win. But if the Eagles are like I know they are, and how Doug Peterson is coaching them up right now, yeah, this is a must-win game. They need these next 4 games. Just take it one game at a time. The Rams this week, the Giants next week, the Raiders the week after that, then the Cowgirls after that. So let's get it done. Let's get it done, Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. We're gonna win this game on Sunday. But this is definitely a must-win, and the Eagles better approach it like it's a must-win. Go ahead, Andre.
I totally agree with you. I think it does something to yourself. You get on a losing streak, especially for a sophomore quarterback, sophomore coach. You know, we've had a history of losing. We don't want that anymore. Third, we want the easiest road we can get to Super Bowl. We want to stay on this hotness we on. We want to You want to put fear in other teams. You want people to come to our house. If you could be on top, be on top. For us to go below because we had a good winning streak. No, 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 no. Stay on top. I agree with everything you said.
I mean, that's on you.
Yes, Sunday is going to be a very interesting day for the NFC concerning the Eagles and Rams game. If they want to see, they're going to have to play hard. If they want number two, then hey, a repeat of last week with the Seahawks. But it's going to be a competition that on Sunday because the Vikings play the Panthers and the Panthers aren't doing, they're they're not doing too well this season. But the Vikings are the number one seed holders right now, and they're playing the Panthers on Sunday. So based on how everyone wants things to go, the Vikings and Eagles may possibly be tied. Who knows? But the Eagles, if they want to win, if they want this seed, they're gonna have to, put in their work. And hopefully they got some practice in from since last Sunday evening. But it is going to be interesting Sunday afternoon. But Vikings, I think they play at 1. I think the Eagles play at 4 something. But it'll be a very interesting Sunday evening.
Yeah, the Eagles will play at 4 o'clock unless something changes. Now, LA is burning right now, so that may change. The Eagles may have to go to San Diego or some other part of California to play this game. So stay tuned on that. But as of right now, the Eagles will play at 4 o'clock on Sunday. Uh, God, and fire permitting, and air quality permitting, they should be playing in LA unless they need to move the game somewhere else. Who knows? They may wind up going back to Seattle and playing the game there. So who really knows what they're going to end up doing. But they may have to go to Oakland. They may have to go somewhere that's not burning. If the fire keeps getting as bad as it is. So we'll see.
Welcome to the Coliseum.
Uh, but yeah, the Eagles, they've already said they may have to move that game depending on the fire, and they only really have one more day. So, tomorrow is Saturday. So I don't know. I think they're going to play whether the air is good or bad because we all know in LA, even though it is the West Coast, LA got one of the worst air in America. But it is what it is. Moving right along to the Jallo Okafor trade. Our reaction to that. Jallo Okafor trade. The reaction to that. Go ahead, Andre. Andre, you there? No. Okay.
Jalil Okafor. I'm glad they finally let him free, man. Give us free. Like, I just don't understand the point of keeping on to the boy all this time. But they probably was actively trying to trade him, but nobody gonna give nothing with the way. Ain't nobody gonna get no first round draft pick for him. You already devalued him by leaving him on the bench all that time and going back and forth, and so people see his character and it's made a bad situation worse. I'm happy for him. I think the Sixers. I think they could have used him. I think they made a mistake. I think if I was him, I'd be because he lost all that weight, so he showed you that he was dedicated, like he wanted to actively make a change. But I don't know. I think the Sixers smell themselves too. Oh, we got Joel Embiid. We good. Don't not worry about nothing. Okay. Okay. Don't count your eggs for the hatch. He need to stop shooting all them damn threes and get in the paint more and close out games. That's what I need to see. I don't need him to fill up the stat sheet. I need him to win games. I don't care if he had 2 points, but if he affect the game to where they win, all right, now we talking. That's what I'm talking about. And you got a number one draft pick that two number one draft picks that can't shoot, and Ben Simmons and Markel Fultz. What the hell? How the hell are you the number one draft pick and you can't shoot? I get you athletic. I get you can get to the rim. You can. I was gonna say create your own shot. You probably could create your own shot, but you can't make the damn shot. I mean, it's totally absurd. Jahlil Okafor could score. He couldn't play the best defense in the world, but he could score. He was a great scorer. And I just think this is gonna be sorry about that. But I'm happy for him.
Mina?
Yeah, this is a great move for him, for his career, for him to be traded from the Sixers to the Nets. The Sixers, he really wasn't allowed to let his light shine, and he was on the bench quite often, wasn't given significant play time. But with him on the Nets, that needs someone like him so that their light shine and help build the team. It's a great move. He'll be able to get minutes. He'll be on the bench less, hopefully. He'll be able to establish himself as a part of a team rather than a bench warmer. And we'll really be able to see him get the ball going when he's, on the court. Because he kind of struggled with that when he was with the Sixers. Getting his play move right. But with the Nets, it's a different team, different city, close by, but it's a different area. So a different support system would be there for him. So it's a good move for him, business wise and career wise, to let his light shine and go where the true success for him is.
Alright, everybody know I'm the ultimate Jahlil Okafor fan on here, and I'm one of the people that I wrote an article about this trade. And before this trade, when it was rumored to happen last year, I said that the Sixers would be stupid to trade Jahlil Okafor, and I still say that even though the stuff has turned and Joel Embiid has proven to be the real deal, and Ben Simmons is the real deal, I still think the Sixers traded and gave up on Jahlil Okafor way too early. I said the same thing when the Eagles traded Eric Rowe last year and gave up on him too early. And he wound up winning the Super Bowl with the Patriots and being a key part of their Super Bowl win and becoming a shutdown corner in New England. I believe the same thing will happen with Jahlil Okafor, even though he is going to the Nets. I believe that with the Nets, he'll establish himself. And then the Nets, the Nets have him, D'Angelo Russell. I know. What's his name is out. Linsanity. I know he's out for the year, but come next year, they'll have Lynn, Okafor, and Russell. That's three good little building blocks, and then they got the number one pick because the Nets are horrible, so they're probably gonna have the number one pick. So then they could get the other kid from Duke, Marvin Bagley, however he pronounces his last name, and that's a number one pick. That's a small forward. So you got your power forward, your small forward, your shooting guard, and your point guard, and you're good. That's 4 out of 5 right there. And so, I think that this is going into the next question, but I think the Sixers are definitely stupid to trade him. Just as Dre said, because that's consistent scoring. And he never was really given a chance by all accounts. I compare him on this podcast before to Nelson Aguilar because the same hype that Nelson Aguilar had, and we saw how that hype is proven to be true. That they were saying during the preseason offseason before this game started, that Nelson Aguilar was having a good offseason workout, came in, lost weight, came in more confident. And look at him now. He's having a great season, a very, very stellar season. And for all intents and purposes, Jallo Okafor, they said he was looking good in practice during the offseason. And in preseason, he looked good in preseason, the one game I saw. He was playing defense. He was more motivated. And the Sixers never gave him a chance. See, I think the wrongest thing the Sixers did to him was not give him a chance to play. Now I don't care. We all know y'all invested in Embiid, Simmons, and Fultz, but you could have given that man a chance. It's not like y'all actually let Joel Embiid play every game this season. Like this man could definitely play more than one game and a blowout, basically in dumpster minutes against the Celtics the first time we played them, or the second time we played them at home. It's just ridiculous that the 76ers set this man up to fail. They got him, didn't put the right pieces around him, made him suffer through a losing season his first 2 years in this NBA. Then they trade him to the Nets. They're going to have to suffer more losing. But you know what? I think he's going to wind up killing the Sixers. They don't play the Nets until later on in the season, so he'll have time to develop and kill Joel Embiid because for real, this season Joel Embiid ain't playing defense. So I am shocked at the lack of effort from Joel Embiid this season and everything else. I really am on the defensive side, and I definitely think that the 76ers, yeah, they made a good trade. They got Trevor Booker, but I think they've ultimately weakened this team because now you don't have a go-to scorer. As I've been pointed out, Ben Simmons can't shoot. Well, we've known that since college. Markelle Fultz is injured already. And Joel Embiid has proven that, he got a good outside shot, but I don't know what's wrong with him. He must be scared of the paint or something because I never see him down there unless it's on a fast break. So I don't know what's going on with Embiid. Somebody better help that man get his confidence back to realize he's 7'2" and need to act like it. And stop trying to shoot outside jump shots. You're not Tim Duncan. Yeah, but that's my take on it. So our last question is: Jallo Okafor going to come back to bite the 76ers? The curse of Philadelphia, is it going to be in full effect? Go ahead, Andre.
Is Jallo Okafor going to come back? Yeah, he gonna light them up because it's it's gonna be biblical what he's gonna do to the Sixers. I would, I would. I mean, like your former team and how they treated him on the way out the door. You draft me at number one. You treat me like a fifth round draft pick. Man, when I tell you I'll terrify the Sixers, they wouldn't know what hit them. I had them kicking themselves the whole way home. When they played me, when they think about me, when they come to our house, I'll let load. I really do hope he has a good game against Sixers. I hope he beat him too. I hope he beat him bad. And that's coming from a Sixers fan. I think we need to learn what wrong is and not to ever do that again. Ever do that again. Like you don't waste first round draft picks. You take the whole season. You telling us to trust the process. You look good when you're doing stuff like this. Go ahead, Jalil, before light them up.
Nina.
Right now we can't say because I think you said they play each other later on in the season. So we don't know. But it might be. I have a hunch. But it might have a biting back impact on the Sixers for getting rid of someone that really knew how to keep score, or it may not. He may forgive and forget, but who knows? But it'll be an interesting game to see Sixers and Nets play one another to see how they gel with a former player versus his just recent former team and see how he really blows up. But it'll be an interesting play by play and see how it goes. But I'm gonna be watching for that game to see how it goes and see what type of skills Jahlil Okafor has on the Nets that he wasn't allowed to have on the Sixers because they really didn't let him contribute much to the team as he should have. So it was Sixers loss at the end of the day and the Nets game at the end of the day.
Man, look, this is gonna come back to bite the 76ers. It's the curse of Philadelphia, man. We trade players way too early, a la Charles Barkley. Uh, there's so many. There's Andre Iguodala. There's so many players that we get rid of early that come back to bite us. Like Andre Iguodala, he lights the Sixers up every time they play whatever team he's on. He lit them up when they played the Warriors. You gonna like? Let
Kyle
me tell you something.
Korver, Raja Bell.
Kyle Korver, so many people light the 76ers up every time they play them. And you best believe, if our history is anything to go by, it hasn't been wrong yet. Jahlil Okafor is going to light the 76ers the heck up come January, whatever it is, late January, early February, no, late February, early March when they play the Nets for the first time. Like, Jahlil Okafor is going to have plenty of time to get used to playing with D'Angelo Russell and is going to light the 76ers and that whole division up. Like, he's going to light. He was nearly 20-10, and that was on a team that had Joel Embiid on it. So just imagine what that man going to do now that he's free to have his paint all to himself. And they said he was developing the jump shot and everything else. So he's going to take everything he learned from the 76ers, use this next year and a half and the next year he has because he's still on his rookie contract. Prove something to them. Go get a big extension in 2020 and just destroy the 76ers from now until they sign him again when he's old and decrepit. No. This man is going to light the 76ers up. He's going to be fighting the 76ers for the rest of his career, just like Charles Barkley did. Charles Barkley played the same position, and he lit the Sixers up until he retired. And for the 76ers, I mean, this is what happens when you play politics with people's stuff, man. I know y'all like Joel Embiid, and I'm not saying it was Joel Embiid that was the reason the Sixers benched him, but I believe he played a role. I believe that the wanting him to succeed played a role, and why Jahlil never got his chance to play. But now that he doesn't have that, as Amina said and as Andre said, this is what's gonna happen. He's gonna light them up forever. Every time he's on the floor, he's just gonna light them up, light them all the way up. And this is definitely gonna come back to bite the 76ers. It may not come back to bite them this season, but it'll definitely come back to bite them come next season and the seasons after that. As long as he's in the NBA. All right, some things we didn't get to cover. Alabama made it into the playoffs. In this humble columnist opinion, Alabama didn't deserve to make it into the playoff. But that's a topic that we'll discuss next week.
Roy Moore is still in the race and still has a chance to win the election. Alabama, do the right thing come Tuesday. You know, get on your Spike Lee and do the right thing. You know, what else is going on? Yeah, it's just some things we didn't get to cover. It's been great. That wraps up episode 61 of the Crossover Sports Podcast. I want to thank Amina and Andre for rocking out with me on a Friday night. They could have been anywhere in the world, but they decided to be with me. I really don't take that lightly. And help bring this podcast.
Shout out to new mayor of Atlanta. We got a black female as the mayor of Atlanta. We always proud to see progress.
Right. Yeah, man. So yeah, I want to thank them for rocking out with me. I want to thank you guys ultimately because we're doing this for y'all. For watching this, whether you're watching it now or later. Thank you for your support. Spread the word, share it. WatsonSportsTakes.com. If you want to see articles from me, as you all know, I do write sports articles. The sports journalism is my passion, my field. It's how I make my living. Just definitely keep that up. WatsonSportsTakes.com. Amina has a blog too that you can follow as well. I will let her plug her blog. Go ahead and tell them what the blog is, Amina.
My blog name is on the same website that Colleen uses. Is hashtag Amina Speaks.
Y'all got that? Amina Speaks. Check it out. Definitely do all that, and yeah, man. Support us in our endeavors. Young people just try to make a dollar, man. You know, and do what we can to better our community and better the African American cause. And definitely, thank you so much. If you're on the East Coast, man, and you're in the Philadelphia area or on the East Coast in any way, man, stay prepared, stay warm. We might get some snow. I don't think it'll be as bad as they're predicting, but it all depends on where you live. We might get some snow. So stay warm, stay safe, be careful on the roads, have a good weekend, enjoy the holidays and everything else. As we approach the last 3 podcasts for the new year, we're going to try and improve and bring y'all better content in 2018. But until then, man, have a great weekend. Deuces.